Freedom. It's a neat concept, but are we really free? I don't think we are, and I think I can prove it with just one question. Can you name anything that isn't in one way, shape, or form controlled, taxed, licensed, or regulated by some form of government? I can't. I've never been able to. You see, we've been sold a distorted image of freedom, and the cage we're in is a lot tighter than you think. Most people believe that freedom means you can do whatever you want. You can work wherever you want, you can live wherever you want, you can say whatever you want. But what if I told you that freedom doesn't actually exist? At least not in the way we imagine. And the scariest part about this is we've gotten so comfortable in this cage, we don't even notice the locks. So let's take a look. What are the images that pop into your head when you think of freedom? The American flag, the Statue of Liberty, the Liberty Bell, vast open spaces. Are these images that you have been programmed to see when you think of freedom? And are they a realistic depiction of freedom as a component of American life? So let's get practical. Try this right now. Name one thing in your life that's completely free. One thing that you control with zero government interference, zero permissions, zero regulation. Can't? Well, that's because we see freedom and conformity as two sides of the same coin. From the time we are school children, we are taught that freedom and conformity are tied together. This starts at a very young age. Messages of freedom are delivered in a super-controlled environment. This control builds a relationship between freedom and conformity. You are told when and where to sit, raise your hand to speak, eat when we allow you to, do your schoolwork, do your homework, and a host of continued messages of conformity, all while being told how lucky you are to live in the freest country in the world. This daily barrage of misinformation roots deeply in your mind, so deeply that you really don't realize that you are being manipulated. Most are happy to be so lucky and never realize that the main curriculum is, and always will be, conformity. As you progress through your education, more conformity is being built in. We are preparing you for your future life, a life of tunneled knowledge designed to make you effective at your profession, and a life of economic enslavement, where your conformity skills come in handy. Critical thinking, mental horizon expansion, invention, awareness, and enlightenment are all left out as they act against conformity. So now let's take a look at life as we've grown into adulthood. If you're an average person, you've got a job, husband or wife, kids, and a home. It's the American dream, right? Well, let's take a look at that house for a minute. Every inch of your property is regulated by zoning laws, HOAs, or city governments. These entities decide what you can build, how big it can be, and what it can be used for. In most states, you can't even build a tiny home or a new fence on your property without permission. Try to do that and see what happens. How is that free? Victor Spencer, a guy in Oregon, built an off-grid tiny house on his own land. Small, with just a few solar panels, rainwater barrels for collection, a fireplace made of stones he collected at a river that runs through his property. Sounds like freedom, right? Well, the county sued, shut him down, fined him, and forced him to tear it down. He had the land, but not the permission. How can this even be ownership, not to mention the freedom, to enjoy his own property. Have you thought of anything that's not controlled or regulated yet? Me neither. Let's check out a few more examples. Did you know it's illegal in some states to collect rainwater off your own roof? In Colorado, for example, homeowners are legally limited to collecting just 2 barrels, about 110 gallons, unless they have special permits. That's rain falling from the sky, landing on your roof, obviously not yours. Think about your car. You bought it, but you don't actually own it. You have to register it every year. You pay inspections, emission fees, insurance, and believe it or not, in some places, you have to get a permit or permission just to park in your own driveway. Break one of these rules, and the state can seize your car, revoke your license, or fine you into submission. You're free to drive as long as you have a license and only within the boundaries set by somebody else. Now let's talk about your money. You think that's free? Try depositing $10,000 in cash at your bank. They'll file a report on you under the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970. Large cash deposits or withdrawals get flagged. Miss a tax payment? They'll seize it. Send it the wrong way? They'll freeze it. Your money is only yours if you follow every rule they've attached to it. And the reason so many people shrug this off is because we think the trade-off is worth it. A mortgage and taxes means paved roads and police. Registration means safe drivers. Zoning creates better neighborhoods. It's comforting. But ask yourself this: is that freedom, or is it conformity with conditions? You think you have freedom over your own body. Well, try living fully off-grid. Some local governments have made it impossible. Try medically assisted suicide. No, they'd rather you suffer till your last day. You can't even go to a doctor that's not in your plan. And you really want to try something good? Try sitting outside in public for longer than you're supposed to. See how that works out. Insane, right? Want to dig your own well? You'll need a permit, a hydrogeological study. You'll have to pay fees, obtain engineering drawings, and sometimes face restrictions if the local authority decides that your well taps into a protected aquifer. And here's the kicker. According to the law, that water beneath your feet is supposed to belong to you. It's part of your property rights. Ever heard of Eustace Conway? He's a naturalist in North Carolina. He's been fighting local governments for decades just to live on his own land the way humans did for centuries. They tried to shut him down for not having approved structures and plumbing. The land is his, the freedom is not. He's alone on his property, not hurting anyone or hurting the environment, and they just can't let him be free. Thanks to Mountain Men for that clip of our friend Eustace. So here's the part that stings the most. That cage isn't just permits, taxes, and laws. It's mental. It's how we're taught to see conformity as normal, even good. Most of us don't want to think for ourselves about freedom. It's easier to stay inside the lines than to test how far they go. True freedom is terrifying. It means risk, responsibility, uncertainty. That's why when people try to live totally free, off-grid, sovereign, they often are labeled as extremists. They make the rest of us uncomfortable because they remind us of how little we actually control. Anything yet? Yeah, me neither. Now add in technology. AI, digital IDs, smart devices in every pocket, a camera on every block. Everything you do leaves a trail. Your location, your money, your thoughts. Want to pay cash? Increasingly harder. Want to stay off the grid? Good luck when your car, phone, or even your smart fridge is tracking you. Freedom is the greatest illusion ever played on the public. It sounds so good and inspires us to even want it for others. It has been so well blended with conformity that we aren't able to distinguish the difference. And events like 9/11 created things like the Patriot Act, Homeland Security, and FEMA. The Patriot Act allows government entities to custom define what terrorism and terrorists are. It disables constitutional rights, inhibits mobility, tracks its citizens on a large scale, as well as a host of other insidious devices designed to control and superconform our society, all in the name of freedom and security. So if freedom isn't what we think it is, what do we do? Would you really choose freedom if it meant losing comfort? If it meant risk? If it meant taking responsibility for every aspect of your life with no one to bail you out? Think about it. We need laws to protect us from harm. We need some conformity to achieve a livable peace in our society. All those things are needed. But when there are up to 20,000 regulations to get a cheeseburger from farm to plate, that's just too much. Yeah, I know, 20,000. Really? Well, consider everything from raising cattle, farming the veggies, transportation, refrigeration, sanitation, storage, production, sales, and service. Heck, might be over 20. So I'll ask you again. Name one thing that's completely free from control. One thing you can do, have, or build that doesn't require permission. I'll bet you can't. But if you can prove me wrong, drop it in the comments. Because maybe, just maybe, freedom doesn't start with permission. It starts when you see the cage you're in and decide you want out. If you got value from this, share it with someone who still thinks they're free. If you want more videos like this one, please let me know in the comments. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay curious and stay free.